Morning, y'all. It's Megan. Welcome back to the channel. Glad y'all are here today. Getting some breakfast going this morning before everybody gets good and started. This morning we're having sausage and a little bacon. Just a little something to get you going. So, well, come spend the day with us. I don't know exactly what all we aim to get into just yet. We'll just see. There we go.
So in our last video, y'all heard me mention that I needed to reseed this particular pasture right here with some grass seed. Now we have some pretty decent chances of rain coming up in the next few days, and to be honest, we need some rain. It's been a fairly dry fall. We've had a lot of these like misty, dreary kind of days, but no real substantial rainfall. So it's gotten kind of dry. So I'm kind of glad to see that rain coming. However, before that rain gets here, I want to get this reseeding done because it should be the perfect time. Now, doing it this late in the fall, chances are I won't see any results hardly till springtime unless we have a particularly warm winter, and that is very well possible. But I probably won't see any results from any of this till springtime, and that's okay. But what I'm going to be hitting this pasture right here with is some more fescue. That's the main thing. And then I'm also going to add in some crimson clover to it as well. Crimson clover is an annual, so it'll really only benefit me through the springtime next year. I have grazed crimson clover before. It makes a wonderful forage to graze, but it is an annual, so it won't last. But I happen to have some extra left over from sowing my cover crops on the fields, so I thought, why not put it out here on the pasture. I will be reseeding the other two pastures right over here with crimson clover as well. However, I'm probably not going to share that with you. I just want to mainly show this pasture. So currently at the moment, from where we unrolled hay, we've got a pretty nice stand of grass coming up in this hay, which we showed most of that to y'all on the last video. However, the spots where hay wasn't unrolled, there is no grass. The grass is terrible in this pasture. So all of this corner right out here needs to be hit. All along this upper side up here needs to be hit with seed. I'm going to hit the whole thing with seed, but I'm going to do something a little bit different on this pasture, and this is the reason I wanted to share this one with y'all, because there is a lot of bare ground in this pasture. And when I say bare ground, I mean patches like that right there. See, there's nothing in this patch except maybe a few weeds. No grass, no nothing. Same with here. Nothing. You see how this dead grass, that's all pretty much crabgrass that was growing in the summertime, and it's dead now because it's frosted and froze and everything else. So what I'm going to do different, instead of just throwing the seed out, I'm going to cover this whole pasture here with my drag and sort of loosen up that dirt and cover that seed up. And the reason for that is because if I don't, where this is bare soil, and let's just say we don't get a whole lot of rain, it'll dry out quick, and if that seed sprouts, it'll die. And if it don't sprout, well, chances are the bare ground didn't hold enough moisture for it to sprout. Out here in these pastures, I can get by with just slinging seed out on the ground and letting it go because I have a good grass canopy already. And so that grass canopy kind of acts like a straw layer, and it will hold moisture. So in turn, that grass, the seed will sprout, grow, and be just fine. So these pastures, when I seed them with that crimson clover, where that is a small clover, it'll work, small seed, it'll work just fine to just sling it out in them pastures and let it go. However, on this one, I am worried that if I just slung seed out there, I couldn't get by with doing that. This will be the only one I'm putting grass seed on because this is the one that needs it the most. I am going to go ahead and do all of the other pastures in crimson clover that I hadn't done already. Crimson's clover is such a small seed, I can make 20 pounds of it cover a long ways. Now, if this was going to be my only crop, 20 pounds wouldn't go that far. But since I'm mingling it in with the grass that's already currently here, I can stretch that crimson clover for a long ways and probably cover every bit of this ground with 20 pounds of seed. So I already have some crimson clover in this spreader from the last time I spread clover seed. So I'm going to go ahead and run it out first. Doing these annual crops like this crimson clover is something I kind of like to experiment with every once in a while. And for some reason this fall I've been in the mood to experiment with it. Like I said, I won't really see the results till till springtime. And possibly even late spring. It just depends on how the year works out. But I think it's a pretty cool concept to think that we can not only take the grass and stuff we have here as forage, but also mix in some clovers or anything. There's all types of different seeds that are normally used for cover crops that can also be intermingled with your pasture blends to diversify what you have to graze on. And what I'm thinking next year is sometime in the late spring, mid to late spring, I will reseed some of these pastures with some more summertime cover crops. And that way I can have not only the normal grass growing throughout the summer, I'll also have some type of annual thing growing in it as well. I don't know. Like I said, it's just something I'm kind of experimenting with. But I have already done it in the pasture up here where Lovey's at. I done it early in the season, and I've got crimson clover in there that tall right now. So it's doing really good. That would actually make good grazing at the moment, but I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm just going to hold off and graze that one early in the spring. But anyways, let's throw out some seed. I barely even have to crack open this thing with these little seeds here. And I mean, they go a long ways. Matter of fact, I've got it cracked too much. Have to fine adjust on it to get it to where I want it. I've done this in the past with ladino clover on these pastures, which is a perennial, and it's worked out great. And the nice thing about using a chest spreader like this, it does take longer than using the tractor. However, it's very easy for me to fine tune where my seed goes. So if I've got a spot or a patch that's got really nice thick grass in it, I don't put as much seed. If I got a bare spot, I can really throw it to it. It simply amazes me at how far these little clover seeds will go. You see how small they are. So just in that little bit right there, there's still a lot of seeds there that'll cover a lot of ground. This hopper was about halfway full, and I've covered every bit of this pasture and that one up there. So now I've got left 2 of these pastures right here. And after doing that, I'm going to say that this right here is almost enough seed to cover this smallest pasture right here. A lot of people tend to think, and it's true, that cover crops and annual crops like this can be expensive to use. And they can. However, when you're overseeding them into an existing, I guess you would say an existing pasture, you're not doing your basic seeding, you can scatter them so far that at that point they actually become almost what you could call cheap, because you can cover so much ground with so little seed. I would like to say that this whole area right here is 1.5 acres maybe, and I just covered it with probably 10 pounds of seed, and I got good coverage on it. I can look down at the ground right here and just see numerous seeds laying everywhere. So that's something to keep in mind. It all depends on how heavy you put them out. Now, when I put cover crops out on my fields, being that we're putting them on bare ground, I want them thick, and at that point it can get a little bit expensive. However, you get a lot of benefit out of it too.
So it's time to give my kraut a try. I'm thinking it's about done. It's been around 3 weeks that it's been working. And y'all can look back at that video when I made it. And so, as I said in that video, if it was going to be below freezing, I was going to bring the kraut in, because I was scared it would freeze, perhaps, and bust my jars. So, it only actually stayed out on the porch just a couple, 3 or 4 days. I don't remember now. And I ended up just bringing it in for good. Some of y'all left in the comments too that you didn't feel like it made as good this time of year because the temperature swings so much, which makes total sense. I haven't made it this way this time of year. So I've had it sitting in my kitchen, where it stays a pretty constant around 70-ish degrees, and been letting it go to town, and it looks great. It's got a really nice color. I tried it about a week ago. It wasn't quite where I wanted it to be yet, but it tasted great. So I'm going to open one and give it a taste, and we'll see how it goes. Now, I have been cracking the lid about every 4-ish days and letting some of the gas release, because I've just got regular old jar lids on these. So that's the way I've been doing it. So I'm thinking this is ready to go ahead and put up, and we're going to see here in just a second. I want to see what it tastes like. Now, if you don't know, this is Tipper Presley of Celebrating Appalachia. This is one of her ways of doing kraut. And I've tried doing kraut so many ways through the years, and the taste has just been okay. But I really, really have enjoyed this kraut. I made it back in the spring and decided I'd make some more this go round. So let's crack a lid. They don't seem like they have too much gas build up. No. Yep. Wasn't even nothing come out of that one. It looks like it's got a really good texture. See there? Got a good crunch to it. Oh yeah. And a great taste. So I've grabbed me a clean spoon with some holes in it, and I'm gonna push this back down in the liquid the best I can. Because the couple of jars I did have go bad from the spring, the cabbage was not in the liquid very good. But I learned a lot then too. I put more liquid this time than I did last time. So, the way that I'm going to store it, now, this is one of them kind of things. Just because Megan does it don't mean it's the right way. But I feel comfortable with it. I just tighten down on that lid, and we're going to take it down to my basement. Now, my basement stays quite a bit colder than it does up here. I'm going to guess it probably stays around 55 to 58 down there, especially in the wintertime. Probably more like 50 to 55 in the wintertime down there. So, I'm just going to tighten that lid like you just saw me do, and that's how it's going to get stored. Now, you can this if you want to. That's perfectly fine. You can find canning recipes in your canning books. I better crack this over the sink. Don't make that mistake. And when you do burp your jars, crack it ever so gently, because if not, ask me how I know. I've made a mess. So you can see that's kind of bubbled up because of the air bubbles. So I'm going to go ahead and just let that go back down there. But the way I feel about anything is it's your kitchen, your rules. If you feel comfortable, you do what you feel comfortable with. I mean, back in the day, they used to make it in a big crock, and they'd just go scoop out what they needed, and it stayed in that crock until the following year, or until they were out. So, just all in how you want to do it. You can see there's not a lot it's not a lot of gas buildup anymore, so I know too that it's pretty much done doing what it's going to do, or done enough for me anyway. And the longer it sits, the better it gets, I think. That one still had just a tad bit of gas, not much though. Alright, and that's all I made this time. So let's take this down to the grocery store and we'll get it put up for the year. So as you can see, it is super duper dark down here. Just very little light. So dark and cool is an excellent place to store kraut. Now, here is some that I made back in the spring, and if the light does so allow, you can see how good that still looks. And I stored it just the way I'm telling you now, so I think it works out pretty good. And there we go. I'm hopefully set on kraut till I start getting some cabbage next year.
All right. Well, all of that pasture out there is covered in clover seed. And I still got some clover seed left, which is pretty impressive. And I covered it good too. So I'm going to try to pour it back in this bag here. And we'll just save this for later use. Like I said, if I was spreading this on the bare ground, I definitely would have used more seed than I did. I want to see if I can give y'all an idea though of just how little I have this thing cracked when I'm using it. So when I'm spreading the seed, well, it might be a little bit more than that. About right there is all the crack I have. So not much seed comes out at all. Now that's with the clover. The grass seed's gonna be different. I'm gonna really open it up on the grass seed and really throw the grass seed out there. But with the clover, it don't take much at all. So many seeds come out of that little crack. Like it's pretty unbelievable. And a good way to test it is when you're spreading, hold your hand out to the side, because it's hard to see those little seeds. Hold your hand out to the side and just see how many are actually coming out, and you'll be kind of impressed with that. But one thing's for sure, I definitely get my walking in doing it this way. I missed out on the morning walk this morning, me and Megan did, so I guess this is a good way to make up for that. Like I said, the grass seed I'm using is Kentucky 31. Yeah, we got plenty of it here. To cover this little pasture here, which is about 3/4 of an acre, maybe. It may not be that much. It may only be a ½ acre in this little pasture. I'm probably going to put out 2 hopperfuls just because I want it on the heavy side. I want this stuff just coated in grass seed. And of course, I won't hit the spots that are coming up with hay. Coming up in the hay. I won't hit them quite as hard. But there's a lot of bare ground out here that really needs some attention. I'm going to mention one other thing to you that I think is pretty impressive. And by no means am I saying this to try to sell something. This is just an honest man's opinion of a product. About a year ago, Camel City Mill reached out to us and wanted us to show their socks on the channel. And I know y'all have heard us say it 100 times before that we ain't going to show nothing unless we truly believe in it. Well, I've been wearing these socks now for about a year. The same pair that they sent. I'm not getting paid to say this. This is not a sponsored video. I want to tell you the truth. Look at this. My socks are still pulled up from all of this walking I've done right here. I have not pulled these socks up one time. And there's nothing I hate worse than a sock that rides down. And so I find that pretty impressive. I know y'all see Camel City Mill Camel City Mill ads all over YouTube. But the thing about it is they are truly a great company. And I will say that if they hadn't have sent this pair of socks to me, I would have never come off the money to bought a pair. So I would have never known. But I will definitely be buying a lot more pairs of Camel City Mill socks because I've proved to myself that they are a really quality sock. And the cool thing is they're made right here within an hour of me. I think that's even cooler. Camel City Mill. I know some of y'all who aren't from North Carolina probably don't know what Camel City is, but Camel City is Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and it got that name because of the tobacco industry. And I think it is awesome that such a good product is made so local to us. And I 100% stand by them, and I have to say that even though their socks are expensive, I definitely won't deny that. I think they are worth every single penny of it because it is so hard to find a good pair of socks these days. So So I'll definitely be buying more, but I didn't really want to say a whole lot about them on video until I had put them to the test. And I think after wearing them for a year's time, well, it's been almost a year, ain't been quite a year, but I know Christmas time's coming up, and a lot of people are unsure about what to get people for Christmas. And so what better thing than something they can use every day in a pair of socks. Anyways, I promise y'all, they're not paying me to say this. I am saying this because I really like their socks. And guys, we do in fact have a link to Camel City Mill's website on our website, which is truegrit.appalachianways.com. So if you are interested in a pair, by no means am I trying to sell anything to you. You can do whatever you want. It's your money. You can do what you want to with it. I am, however, recommending some Camel City Mill socks. Let's get this grass seed spreaded out. And then I'll have to go find my drag. I can't remember what I've done with it. I got to go locate that thing. And we'll take and hook it to the foil, and we'll run up and down these spots. And I'll be done with this reseeding stuff here. So I'm going to open up this thing all the way with the grass seed. We're just going to let it fly. And the ideal way to do it would be with like a no-till drill or something. But I don't have a no-till drill. And this way right here seems to work pretty good. I will say though, that if any of y'all have any recommendations for a small no-till drill, send it my way, because I am somewhat interested in buying one. So I believe all in all, this took me just a little over an hour to get everything spread out by hand. It would have been a lot quicker using the tractor, but like I said earlier, at least I got my exercise in. So now I'll go up here and find my drag, hook it to the four-wheeler, and that's not going to take long at all, because I ain't got much at all that's going to need to be hit with that drag. This spot here, and a spot out down on the far side. And look right here, been out here this long, and she's been right here watching me the whole time. She ain't offered to go nowhere. Does it feel good laying there in the sun, honey? You spoiled, ain't you? Yes, you are. Well, it turns out I had to ride up to the cornfield and get this thing. I forgot we used it up there for those cover crops. But I'm gonna take, since I said I was gonna use the four-wheeler, but since I've already got the tractor going, I might as well just hook it to this tractor and pull around out there. All this contraption is a chain drag harrow, whatever you want to call them, chain drag. This is a little 4-foot one. I bought it at Tractor Supply several years ago, and I don't use it quite like I should. Actually, I always forget I have it. It's one of those things that if you just leave it laying somewhere, it gets buried up in the weeds, and then you don't see it, and like I said, you forget you have it. But I'm going to try to start using that thing more often than I have been. But I'm going to go down here and cover these spots up that I was talking about, and then this will be done. I'll just keep my fingers crossed we actually get some rain. So every bit of what I'm doing here and what you've seen me doing today is pretty much my attempt to maximize my pastures, to get the most out of them and squeeze the most out of what little bit of pasture we do have. Well, I don't know how apparent it is in the videos. I watch it going over that water hose. Oh yeah, it works. I don't know how well it shows up in videos, but we don't have a lot of pasture land for the amount of cows we have. So any little way that I can squeeze out just a little bit more out of these pastures, I'm going to attempt to do it. I want to show y'all what it looks like right fast. It's not even doing much damage at all to the grass or to anything, but it's just dragging up enough loose dirt that it's covering that grass seed that we just put out here. Show you a good example. This has been drug, and you can see we got a little bit of fresh dirt showed, and that should be just enough to cover that seed. This ain't been drug, and you can see there's no disturbed soil. So it's not really making much impact at all on the existing turf, even though there ain't that much of it here. But it should stir it around just enough that it gives me some good seed to soil contact. And that's the key to success on any type of situation at all where you're trying to grow some type of seed, is that seed to soil contact. So that worked out quite well. Probably wouldn't have been a bad idea to drag the whole pasture. However, the grass that's coming up in amongst the hay, I was scared it would be too tender and the drag would do it more harm than good. While we're talking pastures though, right out there where the brush pile was that we reseeded the other day, all of that's coming up good. It looks really good. We've had just enough moisture. We ain't had a lot of rain, like I said earlier. We've had just enough that it's got everything coming up out there, and it's already getting a shade of green to it. So hopefully by next spring, that will be kind of hard to tell there was ever a brush pile there. And also, hopefully by next spring, this right here will be a beautiful green carpet of grass and clover. Like I've mentioned several times in this video, being that I'm doing it this late in the year, it's going to be next spring before I really see some results from this. Unless it stays warm. If it stays warm, we'll probably see some little hairs of grass here and there coming up. But yep, that's done. It's taken care of. And now hopefully the weatherman is right and we get the rain that they're forecasting us to get. I sure hope we do, but we will see. So I had real good intentions that this bulldozer was going to be going again this evening. But can y'all see this? Yeah, I had to pull the radiator back out of it. Come to find out, the water pump was bad. After we filled it full of antifreeze, had it running, letting things start circulating, noticed that it was dripping pretty bad, and I was like, oh my gosh, I hope that radiator ain't got a hole in it. Well, it wasn't a radiator, it was the water pump. So, it's out of there. The water pump sits right in there. This is the water pump here. And y'all hear that? Needless to say, it would have been a smart idea to have checked it before we put the radiator back in it. But luckily, being that the radiator had just been out of it, it wasn't really that big a deal to get the radiator back out of it. everything was loosened up. Now the problem we run into with the water pump is there's a bolt right there that we wrung off. So that'll be a challenge to get out of there, but it can be got out. Ain't no big deal. That's just part of it when you're working on this old stuff. I really wasn't going to film any of this down here today. And I didn't film any of this working on it because I've just, once I found out the radiator had to come back out, I've been in the zone. I pulled it out real quick and tried to get this water pump out. Well, we finally got it out. So it looks like I am definitely going to be making a trip to Caterpillar. Unless I can find one online. I might be able to find an aftermarket one online. I'm going to have to look tonight. So yeah, back to square one on this thing. It's just the way it goes. Well, it's another end to another day.
Yep. Another beautiful end to a beautiful day.
Very beautiful. Hang on a minute. Let me sit down this bucket.
Here, I'll tote it.
Beautiful, beautiful end.
Never gets old.
Never does. Especially this time of year. Going down to feed the horses. It's the last thing left to feed.
No, you got it in this bucket that ain't got a handle.
I know, it hurts your hand. Here, let me take it.
My hands ain't as tough as yours.
Yeah, that was a real bummer about the bulldozer.
I know, I sure hate that.
But that's
part of it.
That's to be expected. When you're fooling with old stuff, you just don't never know what's going to happen. I mean, who knows? Once I get the water pump fixed, I may find out something else is wrong with it. And if I do, I just do.
Well, that thing's what? How old is that thing? It's old.
Well, let's say it's like a 58 model. So
it's old.
40, 50, 60.
It's got a right.
Getting close to 70 years old.
It's got a right to mess up a little bit.
I mean, I will say it turned into a bigger job than I expected, but...
Don't it always?
It always does.
Seems like that's always...
I got it.
The words.
Yeah. I didn't expect all this, but... it's just part of it.
I always like coming down here this time of day. Sure is pretty out through there.
Yeah, and it gets quiet this time of evening too. Hey, the way I look at it is it's refreshing my mechanic skills.
That's right.
You know, it's been a while since I've done a
big
mechanic job.
I know. That used to be our date night.
Oh, that was my thing back in the day.
Well, I got my kraut done, got it put up, and tonight for supper, I'm fixing a sweet potato pie and a chicken pie.
Yeah, boy, I can't wait to eat. I'm going to tell you, I've got hungry.
Have you?
I have.
Well, it's still going to be a little bit.
That's all right.
But
it's been an eventful day. I don't know how much, we ain't videoed everything, but man,
yeah,
I'm tired.
Yeah. Well, every day's a eventful day around here. Seems
Feels
like.
that way.
Always something going on.
So I guess I'm going to be waiting on a rainy day here real soon, and I'm going to be running to the Caterpillar place. And even if I don't buy all the parts there, I'll at least do some investigating. I'm actually going to hunt online tonight and see if there's a place where I can buy an aftermarket water pump.
Yeah. So, maybe it is.
And if it is, it is. If it ain't, it ain't. I have a feeling that it's not going to be cheap, but I don't know. What do you do?
That's right. But anyways, guys, hope y'all enjoyed today's video. Hope you might have learned a little something. Till we see y'all on the next one.
Y'all have a good one.
Have a good one.
Yep, I might just stand right here. Stare off into the sky.
I like standing right here this time of day. See the cows, especially when the cows are right there.
Yeah, you got your cows where you can see them. Got your horses here.